Hello everyone. Today we discuss about Consumer Protection Act 1986. The Consumer Protection Act implemented in 1986 gives easy and fast compensation to consumer grievance. It safeguards and encourages consumers to speak against insufficiency and flaws in goods and services. It, if traders and manufacturers practice any illegal trade in goods and services, these act protect their rights as a consumer. The primary motivation of this forum is to add both the parties and eliminate lengthy lawsuits. So this Protection Act covers all goods and services of all public, private or corporate sector except those exempted by the central government. The Act provides a platform for a consumer where they can file their complaint and the forum take action against the concerned suppliers and compensation is granted to the consumer for the hassle he or she has encountered. So, consumer rights and responsibilities. The rights of the consumer. Right to safety. Before buying, a consumer can insist on the quality and guarantee of the goods. They should ideally purchase a certified product like ISI or AG mark. So, right to choose. Consumers should have the right to choose from a variety of goods and in a competitive price. Right to be informed. The buyers should be informed with all the necessary details of the product, make her or him act wise and change the buying decisions also. Right to consumer education. Consumer should be aware of his or her rights and avoid explanation. Ignorance can cost them more. Right to be heard. This means the consumer will get due attention to express their grievance at a suitable forum. Right to seek compensation. That defines that the consumer has the right to seek redress against unfair and inhuman practices or exploitations of the consumer. Now, the responsibilities of the consumer. Responsibility to be aware. A consumer has to be mindful of the safety and quality of products and services before purchasing. Responsibility to think independently. Consumer should be well concerned about what they want and need and therefore make independent choices also. Responsibility to speak out. Buyers should be fearless to speak out their grievance and tell traders what they exactly want. Responsibility to complain. It is the consumer's responsibility to express a file a complaint about their dissatisfaction with goods and services in a sincere and fair manner. Responsibility to be an ethical consumer. They should be fair and not engage themselves with any deceptive practices. Now, how to file a complaint? Within 2 years of purchasing the product or services, the complaint should be filed. In the complaint, the consumer should mention the details of the problem. This can be an exchange or replacement of the product. Compensations for mental or physical torture. However, the declaration needs to be reasonable. All the relevant receipts, bills should be kept and attached with the complaint letter. A written complaint should be then sent to the consumer forum via mail. registered post, fax, or hand delivered, acknowledgement is important and should not be forgotten to receive. The complaint can be in any preferred language. The hiring of a lawyer not required. All the documents sent and received should be kept. Now, the Consumer Protection Act 1986 acts and rule in details. The Industrial Revolution and the development in the international and commerce has led to the vast expansion of business and trade, as a result of which a variety of consumer goods and have appeared in the market to cater to the needs of the consumers. And host of services have been made available to the consumer like insurance, transport, electricity, housing, entertainment, finance and banking. A well organized sector of manufacturers and traders with better knowledge of markets has come into existence, thereby affecting the relationship between the traders and the consumers, making the principle of consumer sovereignty almost inapplicable. The advertisement of goods and services in television, newspapers, and magazines influence the demand for the same by the consumer, though there may be manufacturing defects or imperfections of or shortcoming in the quality, quantity, and the purity of the goods, or there may be deficiency in the services rendered. In addition, the production of the same item by many firms has led the consumers who have little time to make a selection to think before they can purchase the best for the welfare of the public. The, the glut of adulterated and substandard articles in the market have to be checked in spite of various provisions providing protections to the consumer and providing for stringent action against adulterate and substandard articles. In the difference enactment like Code of Civil Procedure 1908, the Indian Contract Act 1972, the Sales of Goods Act 1930, the Indian Penal Code 19, 1860, the Standards of Weights and Measurement Acts 1976, and the Motor Vehicles Act 1988. Very little could be achieved in the field of consumers protection, though the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969 and the Prevention of Food Adulterations of Act 1954 have provided relief to the consumers, yet it becomes necessary to protect the consumers from the exploitation and to save them from adulterations and substandard goods and services and to safeguards to interest of the consumer in order to provide for better protection for the interest of the consumer. The Consumer Protection Bill that is 1986, was introduced in the Lok Sabha on 5th December 1986. Now, the statement of objectives and reasons. The Consumer Protection Bill 1986 seeks to provide for better protection of the interest of consumers and for the purpose to make provisions for the establishment of consumer councils and other authorities for the settlement of consumer disputes and for matter connected therewith. It seeks um, inter inter alia to promote and protect the rights of consumers, such as the right to be protected against marketing and goods which are hazardous to life and property, the rights to be informed about the quality, quantity, and potency, purity, standards, price of goods, to protect consumers against unfair trade practices, the trade to be assured uh, wherever possible across to an authority of goods at competitive prices also, the right to be heard and to be assured that consumers' interest will receive due considerations at appropriate forums, the right to seek redressal against unfair trade practices or exploitations of consumers, and right to consumer education also. These objects are sought to be promoted and protected by the Consumer Protection Council, to be established at the central and state level, to provide speedy and simple redressal to consumer disputes. A quasi judicial machinery is sought to be set up at the district, state, and central level. These quasi judicial bodies will observe the principles of natural justice, have been empowered to give relief of a specific nature, and to award whatever appropriate compensations to consumers and penalties for non-compliance for the orders given by the quasi-judicial bodies have also been provided. The bill seeks to achieve the above objects. Act 68 of 1986, the Consumer Protection Bill 1986, was passed by both the Houses of Parliament, and it receives the assent of the Parliament on 24th December 1986. It came on the status book as the Consumer Protection Act 1986, that is 68 of 1986. List of amendment acts: the Consumer Protection Amendment Acts 1991, that is 34 of 1991, the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 1993, 50 of 1993, the Consumer Protection Act 68 of 1986, an act to provide for better protections of the interest of consumers, for that purpose to make provision for the establishment of consumer council and other authorities for the settlement of consumer disputes and for matters connected therein, be it enacted by Parliament the 37th year of the Republic of India, that is parliamentary, short little extent, commencement and application. This act may be called the Consumer Protection Act 1986. It extends to the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It shall come into forces or such date as the central government by notification appoint, and different dates may be appointed to for different states. and for different provisions of this act. So that's the end of the video, my friends. If you like my video, please subscribe, like, share, comments of my channel. Thanks a lot for watching.